Blockchain gaming is going to dominate the space. We're going to talk about that today. Generally, the market is down again and generally has been trading sideways and downward since November last year with a whole lot of nothing going on. And they miss the biggest moves that often start while everyone is sleeping. Today, I want to dedicate our live stream to blockchain gaming, where it is, where it's going. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. And if you like money in crypto and you're looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. You can do that as simply as liking this video, subscribing with the all notifications bell enabled. Do note that I'm not a financial advisor. I am a crypto investor myself, and I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about crypto projects that I don't believe in. Special shout out to our Patreon members. We just finished the pre-stream and I dropped some additional alpha there, as well as we have a private Discord that our Patreon members get access to, where I get to interact with you. And on Fridays, we have a pre-stream where we talk and discuss, and I get to hear your questions and answer them directly. Now make it rain on that like button and strap in for the show. Let's welcome our producer, D Money.
What up, Jay? How's it going? Happy Friday, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Just spent all day changing my setup yesterday. And
yeah, dude, it looks good.
Thank you.
Got some of the old equipment back from the command center, and yeah, feeling good about things, except for the freaking market, man. What are you gonna do?
I know, right? Like all of a sudden you see that candle just going red yesterday sharply, and just like.
Well, and I saw that the stock market had like its worst day since 2020, right? So, I mean, it's not, obviously it's hard to spin it any other way, but like, it's not just the crypto market, right?
Well, yeah, it's just what's funny is a lot of traders trade crypto like the stocks, like particularly tech stocks. And so when tech stocks dump, they sell their Bitcoin too.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of correlation there, even though really there shouldn't be, there is. And so we always have to accept the world the way it is, not the way we wish it was. Otherwise, we're constantly it's like kicking the cactus, right? So we always try to get a solid understanding of what it really is versus the way we wish it was.
Yeah, well, and I thought it was interesting yesterday in Paul's video, you asked him to look at the NASDAQ. I think that you had a feeling that that things weren't looking too hip hop there, and then I think the NASDAQ dropped 5% yesterday or something like that. So yeah, your Rainmaker or your Rain Spidey sense was tingling about something. So anyway, man, yeah, but it's Friday, life's good, family's happy, healthy.
Yeah, it's really good in this space. And when it's really good is when it's really boring. And how could that be? I mean, the truth is you're probably checking your Blockfolio or where you track some of your crypto projects on. You're probably checking it way less. You're definitely not feeling like super excited about the space. And that is so normal when the getting is the very, very best. And so having been in crypto in 4.5 years, but prior to this, investing in general, like this is go time. This is the best time. And it's understandable that a lot of people fall asleep during this period. They shouldn't, but we're humans. We do. And so this is the best time to be stocking up for looking for those special gems that are value priced. And that's not to say things won't get cheaper. They might not be. But what it generally means is a year and a half, even 6 months from now, people will look back and say, I wish I could have bought it those prices. Oh man, why did I go on vacation for 3 months? Why? Because you're human and you're bored to death and you go on vacation and you miss all the amazing deals. And that happens over and over again. It's the 5% that are here. If you watch the total number of views on YouTube, it's way, way down. Subscription levels are down. And that's normal when it gets boring like this. What is also normal for the extremely intelligent investors to realize that this is the time to be here. This is when the best stuff is here and the best deals are here, and to be scouring, looking for the gems that haven't pumped yet, that might be vastly undervalued. We're going to talk about a space that I'm passionate about and what it's going to look like in the coming 5 to 10 years.
Because that's what I was just going to say.
Massive move.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the gaming space today. So let's get the party started.
Let's do it. music. It's a great way to get the party started. Now we have, if you look at where the blockchain space and gaming is right now, let's think about this for a second. So we have Axie Infinity, which is a game that's out that you can play. You can spend a certain amount of energy per day. And I'll just bring up their main site. I don't have the actual game open, but this is their website, and it gives you kind of feel. If you've never actually seen the gameplay, there are thousands of videos on the gameplay. And you can spend so much of your energy per day to earn. Like if you win, you get more smooth love potion than if you lose. And that smooth love potion has a value because it's needed or required for breeding and creating more Axies. In order to play the game, you need a team of 3, but also you can develop specialized teams. And so the breeding has some value there because you want to create more options, and it's somewhat random which traits that the child gets from the parents in the breeding. You don't know. It'll draw from some of the traits of the parents, much like real life, and that part's really cool. But it's a fairly simple gameplay loop. Now there is land, which the gameplay involving the land is not ready, and no one is quite sure when it will be, or at least that's been announced. And it is a turn-based game. Now, I'm not particularly fond of turn-based games personally because I find them a lot like board games, and that's okay. Like I play a little bit of board games with family and friends, but not a lot. I like more interactive type of games. And so Axie was cool, and they really fleshed out this play to earn space and proved that there was a business model that's successful here. We're really happy that they did it. And I was even an early investor in Axie Infinity, even though I don't love the gameplay, and the investment did tremendously. But I don't know about you. I'm looking for what is coming down the road and what's going to be more in line with the type of games that we want to play. Now, another game that's doing well is Peg Axie, right? And so these really cool NFT horses can race, and then if you win, you get more of the token than if you lose, and you can earn by racing your horses over and over again. And that's cool. And actually in the early days, it's paid pretty well if you made the expensive investment into these horses. And you know, I really like it. If you think about it, what you're really doing is almost like farming, because like in farming, you're like staking or providing liquidity in a pool, and in reward, you're getting a token of the project that's running the farming pool. And so kind of like you're farming through playing this game, and that you buy an expensive Peg Axie and then you race it. And if you race a bunch of times per day, you can earn the token and you can make some value there. And it's kind of cool. But I think there's a lot more coming in the next 5 to 10 years that's going to be way, way better. Because is it fair to say that traditional gaming is so much more advanced at present to blockchain gaming? Yeah, right. You have amazing front ends that are connected to centralized database, but they consist pretty much as closed ecosystems. You can transfer, or you can't transfer, an item that you have to someone else in most of the games that are out. In a new game that released, one of the biggest traditional games where they sell the game, it's called Elden Ring, and it's a fun game. Great type of game where the choices you can make lead to different outcomes. You can invite friends to help you fight a boss or fight other players, and you can transfer an item to a friend. But you got to go like drop it on the ground. You got to invite them and have them come in and drop it on the ground, and then they can pick it up. Now, the graphics are absolutely incredible. The monsters and dragons are incredible. The gameplay is compelling. Again, like all AAA level games now, you don't own your stuff. You can't sell your stuff. 5 to 10 years from now, doesn't it make sense that most games have a marketplace? Most games have, say, a drop system where sometimes very rare items are dropped. And those very rare items will have value for either cosmetic reasons or play loop reasons. Say a gun that has better stats, as to why those items are special and desirable. And you can take that item and place it on a marketplace, and when it sells, you can extract the value of that item, say exchange it to Ethereum and remove it to your wallet. That is what the future of gaming is. Now, we have ways to get there. One of the most compelling games I've ever played is called EVE Online. So let me pull up their website. For those that aren't familiar with it, this is EVE Online's website, and it's really cool itself, and they have a store here. But think about it as a space MMORPG that has lasted 20 years. Now that is very interesting. Can you name very many games that have lasted 20 years? You can build ships in this game that are so massive, they take months to construct and take thousands of dollars worth of resources if it was an open market. Now, I've heard that there is a black market where buying and selling goes on, but I haven't seen it or participated. Though I did play this game in 2003, and I played it again during the bear market when the market got so boring, and I wanted to just touch base with where existing games were so I could have a better understanding of how play to earn would come together. Now, you can buy Plex from the game, and in their store you can see you can buy 110 Plex for $4.99. You can buy 500 Plex for $19.99. You can buy even bigger packs of Plex. And then Plex has a value in the game. You can sell it for ISK, which is the currency in the game. So if you sell your Plex for ISK, you can then use your ISK to buy the resources in order to build the ships that you want. Or just buy the ship outright. And it might cost you $5,000 worth of buying Plex and then converting, or even as much as $10,000. However, this is the problem of why this type of model isn't the future. The game itself is making the majority of that money. But imagine for a second that CCP, who is the maker of EVE, Cloud something, I forget, Cloud Emporium, I forget what the CCP stands for, but it is not the Chinese Communist Party. It's the other CCP. Let's say that they really understood where blockchain gaming was going, and they took their centralized servers and they integrated a marketplace, perhaps with Immutable X, and allowed all the players to list their items on the marketplace for IMX tokens, or even OMIs on IMX. They could list it for OMI tokens, which would make sense. Or you could even list it for wrapped ETH. And so you build, say, a ship on there and you could list it for 1 ETH, or some of these mega ships, and you could list them for 5 ETH. And then just CCP took a 5% cut on every smart contract that executed. Could you imagine the adoption? A AAA level MMORPG, already with an advanced developed gameplay that's improved itself over 20 years. And trust me, like the improvements they've made since 2003 are astounding. And the types of gameplay you have in it is incredible. And the use of guilds in that game is amazing. Say you could create a guild and you could attract thousands of players to your guild. Literally, if you manage that guild and help them do very well, you could be making $1 million a year or more in really real money if that was a true play to earn game and they had a true marketplace like that. This is where playing is going. But often the biggest players that would be the best position to make this all happen, they don't see the shift coming. By players, I mean the companies out there. They likely still think blockchain is about Bitcoin as electronic gold. Let me ask you, if existing businesses usually get the future, then why didn't IBM build Windows? Why didn't Microsoft realize the power of social connectedness and make Facebook? For those same reasons, I think CCP and even Blizzard and most of the large game studios miss what is going to happen. So if the big gaming studios are going to miss it, who is going to be the ones that nail it? Well, that is hard to tell, but today I want to talk about 3 that seem to get it. There are gaming studios with dozens, even up to 100 employees in their gaming studios. Employees and team members from some of the top gaming studios that are out there that they pulled together so that they have the experience to develop AAA level games. These projects seem to get it, and they're building the next generation of play-to-earn gaming. And if those do really well, we'll be the best position to build the AAA level games that last for 2 or more decades, where perhaps a third of the planet play them, because I think that's where this is going. Now, the first one I want to talk about, let me pull it up, is Gala Games. Now, this is where Gala Games website, go to about, I was checking out, you can see I was checking out their store and their marketplace where they have a bunch of items from their games. But they do have, there we go. Um, they do have a whole bunch of games that they're building, and it's really, really interesting exactly where they're going. So this shows you some of the games that they're building. Some that you may have heard about: Spider Tanks. You might not have heard of Superior yet. Legends Reborn, The Walking Dead Empire. So they paid the expensive price of that license so that they could make this. And you've probably heard of The Walking Dead going blockchain gaming, and Gala is the one putting that together. Now, they launched off my radar about a year ago. They did a different model with their token, that they didn't do much of an initial token sale. They sold nodes. And these nodes process the transactions on their own network. They have about 10 or so games listed on their site under development already, or getting extremely close to full playability on a few of them, or enough functional playability that they can have them playable. And it's really interesting where they're going. Their token has done extremely well, especially in last October and November, when a lot of focus went to the metaverse thanks to Facebook realizing it was going that way and making their big announcement. So Gala is definitely one to watch. The next one I want to talk about, studio number 2, is Gunzilla Games. Now, Gunzilla hasn't done a lot of advertising yet. They have been working behind the scenes, creating their games and bringing together some of the top employees. They've been doing it in stealth mode so they can attract some top people without bringing a lot of attention yet. But you will see their marketing starting soon. And if you even just follow them on Twitter, so I've got them on Twitter. And by the way, if you haven't followed me already, you can follow me at Crypto Rain with 2 N's. So that's at Crypto Rain with 2 N's, because somebody took Crypto Rain with just 1 N back before I did in 2017. So this is Gunzilla Games. And if you look through their Twitter feed, you see a lot of things about them being a very, very advanced studio. They are launching a token sale through an IDO, and that will be coming up very soon. They have a studio in Los Angeles as their base of operations, being in the US. And you get this feel, this is what a lot of actual traditional studios look like if you were to go to their Twitter feed. So they're spotlighting a lot of their employees, a lot of people in their team. Very much the right culture to actually be one of the AAA studios, but they are 100% focused on blockchain gaming. I like where they're going. Now we're going to look at their trailer for their Off the Grid game, and this trailer just barely came out. So D, why don't we go ahead and play that? So D, what do you think of the trailer?
I think it looks awesome. The only thing, honestly, like, I don't get the Gunzilla thing. Like, that's the one thing I'm like, oh, the name is a little bit weird, but the trailer looks unbelievable, right? I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah. But how far out? I mean, do we have any idea how far out this game is?
Yeah, on their timeline, it shows that they've been working on this for a while, and I think really it's going to be next year before the alpha and beta and stuff. And so you're seeing a AAA level. I think they've been building for over a year now, maybe a year and a half, putting together the studio first. And these higher level games, what they really take is a lot of funding. They take about 100 employees or more to build a AAA level game. And then it's just understanding what gamers want to see. So I think this is going to bring us a lot closer to the AAA level games that we're used to. But if they do that on the blockchain, because the economics behind it, they'll be able to attract a ton of players. Will it be as good as like Call of Duty or some of the ones out there that are the very top stuff? I don't expect that. That would be nice if they did. I think they'll hit this intermediate range where it's far better than all the play to earn games that are out there right now. but it's not quite at like the highest level of development yet. I think that evolution happens the next evolution from there. As they learn some things, they hopefully make a lot of money, some of these studios, and then they build some games that are good enough and cool enough, and they learn some things about the economics of what people really want to see in blockchain gaming, that then they build something that could possibly attract a third of the planet and get the kind of reach that, what is, it's not PUBG. What's the other game that everyone plays, that like all the kids play, like everyone between the age of like 8 to 15?
I mean, are you talking not Roblox, or are you talking about
Roblox
Fortnite?
is a big one where they like hang glider into the island. Fortnite, yes.
Yeah.
Like Fortnite, you look at the traction of Fortnite across the whole world and it's astounding. But imagine there's some economics behind it, that people could play in Philippines and Vietnam, and they can make more money playing the game than they can at their day job. And so it can attract people from literally every country, especially the poor countries. But then it's interesting enough that the wealthy countries too will be interested and want to play.
Yeah.
Because the gameplay is also very compelling. And because the gameplay is so compelling, say somebody that makes $200 an hour with their time, they like playing it on their off time, and they're willing to buy items rather than grinding for 2 months to get them. And they're like, oh, I'll drop $1,000 for that item. That will save me 2 months worth of gameplay.
For sure. Hey, Jay, you just went all black, just so you know. I don't know if the camera came disconnected or something like that. And maybe it's just on my end. I don't know.
No, it went black for me too.
Okay.
Changing the setup. Let me see. We're going to go to commercial break.
This is brought to you by Gunzilla. This commercial, it's not really brought to you by Gunzilla.
I had to go to my Sony camera, which I don't know near as well, and I'm trying to reach it to flip it off and on. Let me actually go to a different camera that I know is queued up and just go to my settings. Should let me change it.
But yeah, I mean the oh, huzzah, dude, that's a cool angle.
Right. So
it's brought.
I was hoping StreamYard would let us use both cameras, and it will if we upgrade to the highest level, and considering it. But yeah. So yeah, something's wrong with my Sony, right? And I'm still getting a feel for that. But our Sony, we never had problems with it in the studio, did we?
I know.
Like never. We would just leave it on the whole time.
Reliable one than the Canon, so I guess it's brought to you by Canon cameras, maybe, or by Sony cameras. But yeah, man, like the idea of, you know, within Fortnite. I mean, you haven't even brought up skins, right? I mean, people play Fortnite and they'll spend, you know, I don't even know how much money, the hundreds of dollars, these kids. I mean, you can buy the gift cards at the grocery store in the line, and it's all to purchase skins, right? I don't know of any other utility for, you know, like you were talking about EVE Online, where you're like building ships and things like that you can at least keep the ships. Like Fortnite, the only thing is like, hey, I got a new parachute thingy, or I got a new skin or whatever, and these kids are spending hundreds of dollars, and they don't own it, right? And it provides no utility other than just a flex, right? And that's a big, you know, within the digital art world and NFTs, like, you know, that's where it's going to be heading once the metaverse, you know, really starts to take shape, and people can display their NFTs and that sort of a thing. It's all just a flex. You know, you were talking about it in the pre-live stream, that's kind of all art is. I mean, people buy art because they like it, but you can't tell me that people aren't spending millions of dollars on a piece of art just to be able to have people over and be like, yeah, check out this Rembrandt that I have, or whatever it is.
Yeah, and probably a combination of the two, but probably mostly for the social flex, depending on the personality, right? A lot of times it's 100% for the social flex. Oh, look at this Monet on my wall. Isn't it amazing? Yeah. Bought that piece 3 years ago at an art auction. It only cost me $200 million.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's just because you like to look at it. So for the social flex. And what would be interesting, like what's funny is they could go this way, existing games, that they could totally like give you the ability to resell those skins to other people. but they are so focused on their trapped value, right? So they go and they get Spider-Man IP so that they can make Spider-Man skins. And then they want to sell that to as many people as possible and not allow you to resell it to someone else. No way. Why would they let you do that? And so it's kind of like, back when the whole world was run by kings and, some country came out with this democracy idea and capitalism and free markets. And all of a sudden that country takes off and does well. And the other ones are like, oh, well, I like having control of everything, said the aristocrats. But the people are like, yeah, that like freedom thing looks interesting. And they're like, no, no. But in gaming, people can easily leave, right? Unlike countries, they have to go across borders and stuff, and they have to change their lives. On the game, they're just like, stop playing one game, start playing another one. So when there is free market that, like, say you buy a Spider-Man skin in a game and they sell it in limited quantities and they only sell 25,000. But down the road, the game grows tremendously and there's 700,000 people who want that skin. There's only 25,000 of them, and you happen to have one. How much are people willing to pay you for that? A lot, right? But right now, everyone's used to trap value as they get used to or understand this idea of NFTs and that they can have that value. That's where gaming is going to go. So Gunzilla, before I finish for them, Doctor of Stuff is reaching out to them. So we've asked them to come on the channel and join us. So hopefully they do that. We'd love to have them on and get an interview directly. Let me share my screen for a sec. And so you can see them working. That's a nice studio. I was looking at that. I was like, I like the lights on that. That's cool. Okay. So I was looking at this yesterday as I was researching and doing my office setup. And I was like, man, that's some pretty cool stuff. But honestly, they're doing the right things in their top level studio. Gunzilla is the name of the studio, which is a little bit weird, right? So like Gunzilla. At least I found it weird. The first time I heard it, I was like, that's the name of their game? That's terrible. That isn't the name of their game. The name of their first game is Off the Grid, which makes sense, right? It tells you a lot about the game in the name itself, and we just saw the trailer. So I'm looking forward to what they produce because they've got the right setup and the right people to do something amazing. And so looking forward to where that goes. Hopefully they join us for an interview. We'll send this to them, see if that can get them to join us so that we can have them on the channel, get an interview, see what we think about them more directly. Their token sale is coming up. Hopefully it launches while the market is still very boring so that the retail price is very attractive before the next major pump. The last one I want to talk about is Myria. Myria has many similar setups to what Gala Games has, and they're utilizing nodes to raise funds like Gala did. The CEO and co-founder, Jonathan Teo, I think I'm saying that right, of Myria, he's extremely impressive. And one of my contacts put me in touch with their CMO who had to step away for a bit for his own wedding. And so the CEO, Jonathan, stepped in. We had a fantastic discussion. I asked him some very hard questions and he answered them very easily and warmly. Now, having been a strategic negotiator for an investment company for 7 years, what I read from that conversation is a lot of confidence in exactly what he's doing and that he knows what he's doing. He has been very successful and business owner in many industries. So you could best describe him as an entrepreneur that has bought in several different industries and turned them into successful companies or created them from scratch. The website, if you go to it, shows I did see an advertisement that they have like a token sale coming up. And as I was browsing through, I think it was on the front and maybe it circles through this, but I'm not seeing it right now, but I think they have a small token sale coming up, but they're only selling a small amount of tokens because most of the tokens are coming through the node sales. And for those in the Discord community that were I was able to make some connections for some of you to some of the VCs that were involved with Myria. I did personally make a large investment in this project myself, over 100K. So let's just say my belief level is very high on this one. Though with any of these early stage projects, you never know if it's going to pan out, right? There's always risk with investment. People always ask me, oh, what can I buy that's guaranteed to do well? And I was like, nothing, maybe gold, but like guaranteed. We don't live, when you're in the investment world, we don't live in a world of guarantees. we live in a world of risk. And so we try to make calculated risks. And I like this calculated risk. So with any of these early stage projects, you don't know how well they'll do, even if they look really, really good, because it is still early age. But let's talk about what blockchain gaming, it is early days. What does blockchain gaming look like in the next 10 years? Well, in 10 years, it's not called blockchain gaming, it's just called gaming, though almost everything's run on the blockchain, right? There are likely some interoperability with your NFTs, meaning in some games you'll be able to take your really cool weapon that you have and take it to another game, or your amazing car that has like the upgraded engine. They'll go faster than anything else. And you'll be able to take across some different games. What level of that? We don't know yet. Some cosmetic utility items will sell at some of the most prestigious auctions in the world. So if you think about like Bored Apes and CryptoPunks selling at like Christie's and stuff, right? Okay, so who would have thought that would have been possible just 3 years ago? But isn't that also going to happen with like whatever blockchain games come to dominate? And that there's some rare cosmetic items that maybe in the early days are actually quite cheap. But as the game gains massive traction, and maybe there's only 1,000 or 2,000 or 4,000 of them, some of those items become so expensive that they make it to Christie's auction, because Christie's loves to make auction fees on really expensive items. Why wouldn't they? That's what they're in the business of. And I can see a day that that totally happens. Just like you just saw with CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club. We all probably saw the movie Ready Player One, but I think in the future, one game doesn't dominate like that. Perhaps like 3 or 4 have major traction. Think of the world today, and what's the name of that game? You mentioned it earlier. I can't ever remember.
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
I played it once. It was okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
It's probably the most played game in the world. That and Minecraft and a few others, right?
Roblox, yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
So I think in the future, like it'll be much the same, right? But there will be economics behind it, because these things will have value instead of trap value, where like the game maker makes all the money from that game. You'll be able to get these items and resell them, and they won't want to go that way. They will have to, because that's where the marketplace is going, and they won't continue to be able to attract gamers if they don't offer that ability, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is that if somebody like, if, you know, let's just say, and Gala, now I'm blanking on the off the grid. Let's just say that off the grid becomes the game, like it's as fun as Fortnite, like the graphics look cooler than Fortnite, and then, you know, and then it has this utility where people can make money playing the game. And Fortnite all of a sudden sees their user, you know, their average monthly users go from, you know, let's say it's 200 million right now.
Mhm.
Now all of a sudden it's like 180 million. And then like a few months later, it's down at 100 million. And they're just like, what do we do? Like how, like they're going over there. Everybody's playing off the grid. Why are they playing off the grid? Oh, it's because of this. And so it either forces their hand to change, or they become obsolete, you know, and now all of a sudden, you know.
And how long would it take them to rework that? Because, you know, they'd probably still just run on centralized servers, but then giving you the ability to transact it, right? And to then be able to extract that value could take them quite a while to make that change.
Yeah, well, and that's a question that I have for you really is kind of, because I don't completely understand this, but like, you know, if a game is on the blockchain, like, is it possible to build a game that's that runs like a standard game, and then only the market is on the blockchain, right? So
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
That's probably how most of them will be.
Yeah.
Or you'll have, it depends on what blockchain they run on, right? So you actually, if you played Litcraft actually, a lot of it is on the blockchain, not just the market, but the items in your inventory.
Yeah.
It's connected to a really super fast blockchain that can handle millions of transactions per second, at least in their benchmark tests. And so they can run more of it on there. But some of the marketplaces, even like Binance Smart Chain or Polygon stuff, really you can only have like, it would be smart if they run on centralized servers, but you can at any point take it from a centralized server to the blockchain to then put it, because they don't want to flood the blockchain with all these transactions and transaction costs.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's fine if they run on centralized servers, as long as you have the ability. Think of Vivi, right? It's all on centralized servers now, but they're making the ability for you to then take it over to the blockchain. And I mean, technically it is on blockchain now. It's on the Immutable X blockchain.
Yeah.
Through a centralized system, but then you can extract it to the marketplace and put it up for sale.
Yeah, well, and that would be an interesting, I mean, I don't know that there is a project that's doing that right now, but creating a plug and play option for those games, right? That want to create a marketplace on, within their gaming ecosystem or something like that that's on there. Cause yeah, who knows, right? Like you asked the question, like how long would it take them to pivot? I don't think it's going to happen in a month or two, right? It could be years. Right. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I like what you said, like, it's not going to be called blockchain gaming. It's going to be called gaming, and that really is the future that we have to look forward to.
Yeah, there's a really amazing video. Raul Paul is interviewing this guy, this like CryptoPunk 6567 or something. I forget which number it is, right? But he doesn't want to identify himself and give out his real information. And essentially, he's been in the space since 2013, read the Bitcoin white paper, didn't get into it sooner because somebody gave him an incomplete vision of what blockchain was and what Bitcoin was. But 2013, he really dug into it. And so he's been an investor in the space, made a lot of money in the space. And he's really focused on NFTs and gaming now, because this is where so much money is going. And probably on this channel, we're going to focus more on that, because the last 4 years, I focused a lot on the layer three, so not the layer three, the third generation blockchains, because there's still a big battle for that. But a lot of this battle has been decided. A lot of the gains are there, right? I invested in Cardano when it was really, really low, and now it's not so low. I invested in Polygon when it was low, and now it's not so low. I invested in, even some of these early metaverse and games, like Decentraland and their Mana. I had some Mana token, some items in there, stuff, because I saw that it was going this way. And I think some of the biggest growth and the hyper growth as far as investment is going to go in the next 4 years, a lot of that will come through gaming, because I think they're going to devour an industry that is already so large with so many players. Because this idea of trapped value is going to be an idea that goes away, and people are going to want the value from their items when they have a choice. Why'd I put 7 years into a game where I can't even sell my account versus this? And at least if I put $100,000 into it over 7 years, like a lot of people have into their accounts with like World of Warcraft and other things, they'll be able to extract the value from that should they ever not want to play. And they'll like that concept, right? So we're just waiting on it getting there. And it's projects like this, Gunzilla, Gala, and Myria, that are going this way. I want to say a little bit more on Myria. I'm going to share my screen here. So they're building a PUBG type game, Block Royale, or what is the name of that? I can't ever remember that game.
Fortnite.
I don't know why that name just goes in and
right back out. Battle Royale, probably a third person shooter or something like that.
Yeah, I'm probably blocking it out because my kids do play it, right? And that's where the balance that they're in goes is right.
My kids play it,
right? Oh my gosh, the new Spider-Man skin, oh my gosh, there's some other skin.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is the big one, and they're smart, right? I mean, they do what's hot. Multiverse of Madness is coming out today, right?
Yeah.
Anybody's seen it yet
they have perfected the art of trapped value. It's just the art of trapped value is going to be an antiquated thing in 3 years, because given the choice, people will take freedom in extracting their own value themselves versus trap value. And so Block Royale, this won't be launched. I think they'll have an alpha or beta like sometime mid next year. But that's what this, this is a direct competitor to Fortnite. Look at them coming in here, right? Because this is Block Royale right here. But imagine you could get all these cool skins and you could actually later sell them, and say at the early days, there's only 1,500 of them. And later there's 5 million people playing the game. Can you imagine what the value of those skins is going to be if the game gets massive traction? They'll have some other games released much sooner, like Moonville Farms, and some of the simpler games to get put together. I saw a demo of Metacart, right? So that's kind of like an upgraded version of Mario Kart. little more detailed graphics and stuff than what we have on Mario Kart, but along the same lines. So, and then like first person shooter, this is kind of like Apex or some of the other games that are out there. Star Strike Legends is what comments you have?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and then there's the Farmville one, and then there's one called like Pizza Tycoon as well. I think I don't know where that one is, but
that's a lot like, I forget. Let's see, games. We can get to it. Hot Slice Tycoon.
That's right.
Yeah. So cool. Really enjoyed talking with Jonathan. He's very sharp. Maybe you can get him on to join us on the channel too. Blockchain is unlocking what can take gaming to the next level. And like I said, in the future, this will just be called gaming. And this is the direction it's going. And these are three of the companies that are, I think, have some of the best chances of getting us there. Now, I know there's other ones that I can mention. And one of the ones I'm heavily involved with is Devio and their first game, Litcraft. And they will have others coming out. That was their first one. And that game, Litcraft, has actually been in development for about 4 years. And they used it to test out their own blockchain. And their blockchain can handle millions of transactions per second. So Devio itself might host other games, because the truth is there's no other blockchain out there that can handle anywhere near as fast a transaction speed as that one. But specifically, I was going for major gaming studios today that already have massive teams building these, that are a lot like what the traditional gaming studios are that build these higher level AAA level games. So that was our focus today. Now, I wanted to catch up on some of the comments. What comments caught your attention, D?
The chat's pretty quiet today, to be honest. I had a lot of like, what's up, guys? And yeah, there's not a ton. I mean, our buddy Cut Back to Nature just hopped in a couple minutes ago, I think. Nick Scott, but yeah, everybody, Pete D's in here as well. So what's up to you guys? But I was talking about this with you a little bit earlier, Jay, and it just I can sense this overall like exhaustion with what's been going on with the market, and because I'm feeling it, and it's not like I'm like down in the dumps about it necessarily. I just don't think about it as much or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's boring, right? Which is why I use that term, boring, because it so encapsulates this type of time. And in our private Discord meeting, I think it was Chris that asked, like, are we sure? At what point do we decide that this is a bear market? And like your crypto winter, and still we're in a bullish trend, but this feels exactly like what the bear market and the crypto winter feels like, probably for a shorter stint than what we went through before. But keep in mind that the crypto winter and bear market before wasn't completely boring. It was just boring for longer lengths of time. But in between, before we could even say the trend turned bullish, I mean, we had in 2020, mid 2020, we had the massive run up during the summer. They call it DeFi summer. And that was still technically in the bear market. So realize in the bull market, that doesn't mean there aren't periods. And if you think about it, our last major run was like February and March of last year, like over a year ago. We had a very specific run in October and November, everything related to metaverses because of an announcement by Facebook. And it brought excitement into there. And right now, what you're feeling is a total lack of excitement, right? Why? Because there's no massive gains happening. And generally, value is going down. So this is when most people go to sleep because it is so boring. This is why I say buy when it's boring. And so this gives you a great chance in this audience, if you're here, to identify that this is the best time. The hardest time to be paying attention, I get it. Hard for me too. I have massive ADHD, right? Like, I mean, it's a superpower and it's frustrating so bad at times. And it's a great time to be looking around and seeing what's out there and what's really cheap. And most of us, we've checked under like all the couch cushions and for all the extra money. And sometimes I find bits of extra money that I can use and put it in. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
making some additional investments. I'm selling a few things that aren't down very much, that I don't think have as good a future as some things that are really, really cheap, probably because their token vesting schedule has severely punished their price.
Yeah, Ryan S just said that he's been garage selling stuff from his place to fund his coins. So yeah, I mean, it really does feel like that it is the time to be doing that. I mean, I was just looking at Gala's chart, and I mean, it's down 83% from its all-time high. And Gala feels to me like it's the furthest ahead, right? I mean, its market cap is huge. It's over $1 billion. Um, so but it is, it's doing better than a lot of projects right now.
Yeah, and they did such an interesting model with the node sale, and they didn't do a large token sale, so they don't necessarily have the same token vesting problems that a lot of projects that, like, they might raise 40 million, but only, and say they sell off 30% of their token supply, but at first only 2% of that supply is in circulation. So the price sometimes pumps up, but then those tokens vest month after month after month. And so it drives the price down, drives the price down, drives the price down. With Gala, they did a very, very small token sale, but they allowed some people to buy some nodes, but in limited quantities. And then they sell more nodes and more nodes over time. And right now, if you're to buy a Gala node, in the early days, I understand it was like $10,000 or less. And now those Gala nodes go for like 343,000 or something. Doctor of Stuff forwarded me what the current pricing was on them. And it's like, wow, geez. And, you usually get a 5-year license with that to then put it to work, mining the transactions every month. And in return, you get, Gala token rewards. So it's a different model than a lot of things I've used. And Gala has crushed it. They held a really big, like, Gala Games event, like sometime was it August or September? Truly impressive. I think they held it in Las Vegas, and I saw the kind of money they put into that, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. But Gala, like, this is actually traditional business coming into blockchain, that clearly they get blockchain, at least to some degree, and they're building all these blockchain games. And so these, essentially, if you think about it, these are the pros coming in. They're not doing it under the name of the big titles that are already out there. Why? Because those big titles are missing the boat, though you find a lot of the founders and a lot of the original team work for some of those studios. And that's why it was worth the focus on these 3 projects today. Wanchain giveaway. As many of you know, Wanchain is your strategic partner, and we really have enjoyed this strategic partnership with them, and they give us 500 won to give away every month. Now, they did do a really big announcement recently that is awesome. And that leads into our question for our giveaway today. We give away 125 Wanchain every week. What is the major chain? So this is the question. The first person that gives this answer, it'll show up on your screen always first, but the one that shows up first on our screen is the one that is the winner. Which major chain is working with Wanchain to build an EVM compatible side chain that will interoperate with it?
Boom.
What? That was fast.
Got back to nature was quick.
Yes, it is Cardano.
I always love it when our oh man, Pete D was close behind him. Jerry's my cardamom. I love when it corrects to that. Chris Ashby was close behind. But yeah, I always love it when it's good friends of the program as well, who win these. So yeah, I can't remember, Gut, if we have your Telegram handle. Can you put that in the chat just to
yeah, and D will reach out to you, get your Wanchain wallet, and then we will send you the Wanchain. Really, really like what Wanchain is doing. In fact, in about a week and a half, we're going to have one of their top executives join us for an interview with what's going on in general with Wanchain. And clearly, I'm going to ask some questions about this deal with Cardano, because that's some big news. Used that last night.
Hey, Jay, I'm not sure. So Nick Scott asked, any thoughts on Exceed Me? I hadn't heard of that, and
I have no idea
what heard of that. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, it says kind of its sales pitch. It's a blockchain powered tournament platform allowing gamers at all skill levels to monetize their skills, and enabled by XED. So
No idea.
Yeah, maybe we'll look at that over the weekend.
All right. Well, that's the content I have and what I want to share with you all today. Not a lot of questions in the chat. I'll give it 2 minutes or so if you have any questions, and then we'll wrap up.
We need some like Rainmaker music. We need like a rap version
I can do it.
Of the Jeopardy.
I
couldn't hear it this morning. I think you're hearing it. No, I'm not hearing it.
Why is that not working? Let me see if I'm hearing it.
Yeah. Jerry Squire says, when moon? That's a good question.
Are you not hearing this at all?
No.
Oh, I bet you when I switched over the video here.
But I didn't hear it at the beginning of the program either. So
oh my gosh, really? Let me just check my settings. And
Dougie Collins.
Oh yeah, here's why.
Oh yeah, there we go.
There we go. So it's been playing off of this mic the whole time. It automatically switches itself over to that. So let me start that over.
There we go.
So yeah,
we need to overlay the Jeopardy thing over that.
On the changes and setup, I still have a few other things to put in place.
I also have hear you over the music.
Flat screen over here that we can interview, which is why I have this camera up over here. Do some interviews. I want to work it out so that we can get it angle.
Jay, you gotta cut the music. We can't hear you, man.
Oh,
yeah, we got to figure that out. Dougie Callinson asked, Jay, did you buy any Silo NFTs? Silo,
yes. I bought, I think, just 1 or 2 of them. And I played it for and I did a video on it, and I played it just to kind of figure out what it is. And they have a really, really basic gameplay, which is a lot better than no gameplay, so that you could actually earn some NFTs. But you had to win 3 in a row. And it was pretty hard to win 3 in a row, right? So, and I swear for a lot of it, you were playing against people who had figured out how to just have some bots play all day for them, right? Because some felt like you were just playing bots. And the gameplay was pretty simple. Essentially, if you had enough speed that you end up going first and you had your character set up right, essentially, usually you won. And so you kind of had to get lucky enough to go first while having enough stat points in the other things in order to be able to take them out because you've gone first. And yeah, so really that was the determining factor. But at least they released some gameplay, right? If you think about how basic Axie's gameplay was at first, it was more basic than it is now. And Axie's gameplay is still pretty basic, and they're working on the next evolutions of that. So it was cool that they rushed something to market so you had something to do with your NFTs. But they're working on much deeper level gameplay. Jay, thoughts on Afar, new play-to-earn game backed by Larva Labs? Interesting. I have not heard of it. So what's interesting is they have so much money that's going this way, right? Through Larva Labs has made a fortune. And so they're pretty rich. You'll see them probably investing in a lot of different projects and companies. And the truth is, they nailed it on their NFTs. They nailed it on the IP rights. I think that's part of the reason their Bored Ape Yacht Club did so well, is that they gave you intellectual property rights to it, which was an amazing concept. And that's kind of like freeing things up for people. That's why the whole trap value thing will go away. And so a lot of times with intellectual property rights, oh yeah, you own the NFT and you can later sell it, but you don't have any intellectual property rights on it. And so they went in a different direction on that. And it was really cool that they did that. And then they bought CryptoPunks and Meebits and opened up the intellectual property rights on those too. And so they made a lot of smart decisions. Just because in the past they made a lot of smart decisions doesn't mean in the future they do. So I'd have to take a deeper look at that. Obviously, it's a big statement that if it's backed by them. Is that beeping going on for me, D, or is that your computer? Sounds like a Discord beeping.
Yeah,
I don't have Discord open on this one.
I think it's you. I don't think it's open over here. So sorry about if it is. I apologize, but I don't think it's open here.
Yeah, I don't think it's me. I'm pretty much always on streamer mode, but sometimes Discord turns streamer mode off itself, so maybe. In fact, it might be that computer. Might have come off of streamer mode. All right, we got this last question. One more question. Almost every play-to-earn game is now selling piece of land. Don't you feel it'll soon get saturated? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes. They do that because Axie Infinity not only made some money through their land sale, but the land did so well. Well, it was one of the first to do it, and then there's a lot of projects copying that. So some of the land will do well, some will do exceptionally well, and some will not do well at all. So just because they're doing a land sale, it's becoming just too common that like some of that land will be extremely valuable, but a lot of it won't be. So, all right, that's all I have for this week. Are you ready to be a rainmaker and join the Navy SEALs of crypto and level up your crypto game? Why do I say Navy SEALs? Because Navy SEALs are exceptionally trained. They're way better than average. And did you know that just spending like 15 minutes a day per day over a period of time makes a huge difference in your understanding of the ebbs and flows of crypto, how to really buy when it's boring and other things, so that over time you become one of the top people in this space. And it's incredible the kind of gains you can make by not every decision being right, but just some of your decisions being right over time, letting the growth happen. So join us. It's going to be a wild ride this next 4 or 5 years. Can't promise that it won't be boring. In fact, I can promise that many times like now, it'll be boring. Many times it'll be like super thrilling and exciting. So join us. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join our Telegram, which is free. And if you're interested, join our Patreon. Also follow us on Twitter at Crypto Rain with 2 N's. Thanks so much. See you next time. Remember, no rain, no gain.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit bad before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I take the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Why when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling the parabolic to dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, but time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, studying to know that nothing comes easy, but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this road could soon become a bear market. Learning and growing, and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. Strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort, cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.